Hello everyone and welcome to the channel where we delve into the world of weaponry found in games, movies and TV shows. In this video we're going to chat about some of the most bizarre, contradictory and at times downright worst weapons that history has ever known. After all, not everyone has had the Midas touch when it comes to creating game-changing arms. Sometimes, instead of creating a revolutionary weapon, they end up with a complete dud. But here's the kicker. Despite these epic fails, some of these weapons still found their way onto the battlefield. Sit tight as we dive into this fascinating world of magnificent misfires and fabulous flops. Let's start with the most unsuccessful pistol in history, the ZIP-22. It was the first introduced to the public on YouTube as part of a marketing attempt where the presumed designer Douglas Donnelly uploaded a video titled Unidentified Shooting Object. In the video, someone simply fired from an unknown weapon at the time. However, that was enough for the USFA company to announce its plans for production at the end of 2012. The development of the ZIP-22 was a significant risk for the company, which had already made a name for itself with its high-quality replicas of Colt single-action army and other historical firearms. Although the pistol could be sold at a low price because it lacked expensive components, its production required very costly equipment. Furthermore, the cost of producing the ZIP-22 necessitated the company to sell its single-action army equipment. Nevertheless, they took this risk with the intention of reviving replica firearm production with new tools as soon as the ZIP-22 became profitable. This decision ultimately led to the downfall of the company when the ZIP-22 failed in the market due to persistent reliability issues, leading to the discontinuation of its production in 2014. The USFA itself closed in 2017, unable to return to manufacturing more successful products. Buckle up because we're about to dive headfirst into this one-of-a-kind, utterly puzzling piece of machinery we like to call a pistol. So grab your detective hat because we're about to play Sherlock Holmes and try to figure out what's gone awry with this contraption. First up on our head-scratching tour, we've got the design. Now, I don't know who dreamt this up, but they clearly hadn't done their user experience homework. Staring at it won't magically reveal how to grab it or where on earth you reload it. It's as if playing a cheeky game of hide and seek with you, but you're perpetually stuck on the seeking part. Moving on to our right-handed comrades, they are in for a bit of a rough ride. Their precious fingers are so close to the ejection port that it's like playing an intense game of dodgeball with spent casings. But fear not, lefties, you've got it slightly better. Your hand hangs out on the opposite side, lowering the chances of getting smacked, but the plot thickens. Attach a belt clip and your finger might just fall short of the trigger, like a star-crossed lover reaching for their beloved. But hold up, there's more. People got smart and started holding it in a new innovative way, showcased on screen at this very moment. This grip, however, is like an exclusive VIP club for lefties only. And beware, right-handed pals, raise your hand too high and you're practically begging for a flying casing to smack it. Now, if it wasn't fun enough, let's talk about the bolt. It's got these two rods sticking out from the front of the frame, running almost the entire length of the barrel. Pushing them towards you is the only way to load this party piece. But brace yourself, this is about as safe as juggling chainsaws. You've got to place your hand near the muzzle, risking an accidental self-five if you're not super careful. A thrilling journey, isn't it? Alright my friends, brace yourselves. We're about to dive into the murky waters of the historical firearms with the notorious Shosha, widely touted as the worst machine gun of the 20th century. Crafted for the French and later the American armies during World War I, it's got a history that's as riveting as its design is baffling. Many a soldier would swear it looked like it was slapped together from spare bicycle parts, with more metal tubes than you'd find in a unicycle factory. But that's not surprising, considering its maker was none other than the bicycle company Gladiator. Talk about peddling into a new industry. This oddball design actually enabled rapid production, allowing the French army to arm themselves with something more than stern looks and harsh words. But the eccentricities didn't stop there. The Shosha boasted a unique half-moon magazine which was about as reliable as a chocolate sundial. Often the last bullet would do a little somersault jamming the gun. Now you might notice the magazine has giant cutouts, like a Swiss cheese in a war zone. The idea was one guy would shoot while his buddy kept an eye on the rounds. When the ammo ran low, he would swap the magazine. However, on the muddy, messy fronts of World War I, this teamwork dream often fell flat. Lone soldiers would find their guns cut out, scooping out gunk like a dirt-loving vacuum cleaner, causing more jams than a fruit preserve festival. Moreover, the numerous cutouts, holes and mechanisms seemed to have a magnetic attraction to muck and grime. And the cherry on top? If you didn't hold this wild beast just right, it had a nasty habit of smacking you in the eye or cheek. Ouch! But during wartime, beggars can't be choosers. With no alternative, soldiers had to make do with the Shosha. After World War I though, it was unceremoniously dumped faster than a hot potato. So there you have it, the Shosha, a machine gun that was truly in a league of its own. Alright, strap in folks, next on our wild ride through the wacky world of firearms, we've got the Terminator, brought to you by the legendary and slightly dubious folks over at Cobra. Developed by the one and only J.P. Foote in the mid-1980s, Cobra had a knack for cooking up a smorgasbord of questionable and utterly impractical firearms. But even in that rogues gallery, the Terminator stood out like a porcupine at a balloon party. This monstrosity was cranked out between 1987 and 1990 with a grand total of 1,452 units sold at a jaw-dropping $90 each. The only reason this thing saw the light of day can be traced back to an old Lamborghini ad from 14 years prior. Dude, this thing looks freaking mean, and mean it does look, boasting a collapsible stock which, under a bit of stress, could just fold on its own. Then the gun's barrel assembly will introduce itself to your face, quite unpleasantly. Here's the fun part, it has an ejection port for loading the first round and ejecting spent casings. But there's a catch. It's the only hole there is. You might ask, where do the rest of the rounds go? Well, nowhere, because this heavy metal hunk is single shot. Now that's baffling, considering you're lugging around a massive chunk of metal that can only pop off one round. But wait, there's more. Ever wondered where the bolt is? Spoiler alert, there isn't one. You load the round directly into the barrel and there's nothing between the barrel and the firing pin. The barrel is spring-loaded, and when you pull the trigger, it slides towards you, where the firing pin is located. As the barrel moves the round towards the firing pin, the gun fires, or at least it's supposed to. Here you can see how it took 10 shots and couldn't get it to work. We'll be showing all this in action on screen. But there's still more. When the barrel is open, it's held in place by the firing mechanism, and if you shake the gun or tilt it upwards, there's a solid chance your lone bullet will just tumble out. More often than not, that's precisely what happens. So there you have it, the Terminator by Cobra, a bizarre specimen in the wild world of firearms that truly lives up to its name. Next up in our eclectic tour of eccentric firearms, we have the Italian Breeder Modello 30, a light machine gun adopted back in 1930. This weapon has an uncanny blend weighing a hefty 10.5 kilograms, flaunting rifle-like stock, bipods, and a pistol grip. A true Frankenstein's monster of a gun, if you will. But its piece de resistance, its unique selling point that makes it different from every other firearm you've heard of is this. The darn thing only fires if the rounds are lubricated. Yes, you heard that right. This machine gun came with its very own oil canister neatly perched on the ammunition box cover. Either you had to flood the ammo chamber with this built-in oil dispenser or use pre-lubricated magazines. These flimsy, slippery cartridges were a nightmare to load into the magazine, and the lethargically slow-to-load 20-round magazines were just adding fuel to the fire. All this greasy fun leads us to the next issue. Given that everything's slicked up in oil, the weapon gets grimy 10 times faster than any other and promptly breaks down. The Breeder also has an issue with its rate of fire, clocking in at a laughable 500 rounds per minute for a machine gun. With all the reloads and other hiccups, the effective rate dropped to about 150. However, this doesn't come as a surprise when you consider that in Italian terms, it was technically classified as an automatic rifle for which 500 rounds per minute would be acceptable if you conveniently ignore its 10.5 kilogram weight. But despite its idiosyncrasies and hiccups, this unlikely beast of a weapon remained the Italian Army's main light machine gun until the end of the war. The Breda Modello 30, folks, a machine gun that insists on cleanliness and enjoys a good oil bath before it agrees to fire. Get ready for our final act of the day, folks. We've got an unusual firearm straight from 1944. The German STG-44 variant called the Krummlauf, which funnily enough means curved barrel. Picture this, it's World War II, the German engineers are in a room thinking, how do we help our guys shoot around corners without exposing themselves? So in the sunny month of July, they introduced the Krummlauf, a gadget designed for trench or vehicle warfare comprising the STG-44 assault rifle and the curved barrel attachment with a quick detach mount, plus a periscope sight to help aim around corners. Quite clever, hey? This barrel added-on had a smooth inner channel just 10mm in diameter, with the outer layer a chunky 36mm. The infantry version of the barrel, designed specifically for trench warfare, featured a 30-degree curvature and could hit targets up to 250 meters away. It was good for up to 300 rounds before it needed replacing. They even tried to create a similar attachment for the MG34 machine gun, but that plan went south faster than a goose in winter, breaking down after the first 100 shots. However, it soon became clear that all wasn't hunky-dory with this crooked barrel invention. The curve led to a significant increase in the pressure of the propellant gases, causing bullets to shatter mid-flight. An attempt to fix this by drilling additional holes in the barrel ended up reducing the bullet's initial speed and shortening the maximum range of fire. Also, these bent barrels had the lifespan of a mayfly, 250 to 300 shots for the 30-degree curve and a mere 160 for the 45-degree curve. So, this audacious weapon innovation ended up being a flop, earning a big thumbs down from the Wehrmacht. And the project was quickly shuttered, hence the tale of the Krummlauf, the German brainchild that tried to bend the rules of physics and ended up bending only its barrels.